Thank you. We left off pretty high. Oh yeah. Okay. Tonight's a real Mechiras Chametz Gemara. A little, partially. Musar in tonight's Gemara, we got a lot of stuff. Baruch Hashem in tonight's.
Easier?
The psukim is a little difficult, but like always, drushes. Other than that, it's not such a hard daf. Tomorrow, from the Mishnah on, we start calculating. How do you calculate 6%? At 6%, 1/6.
I know.
Ripping people off. Yeah. Okay. Well, first,
we just go shopping.
Mishnah where?
No, we're not in the Mishnah. No, it's saying the first wide line on Mem Zayin on the base.
I understand that. Where's there a Mishnah?
No, tomorrow's stuff. He's saying.
Where's there a Mishnah here?
On Mem Ches on the base, there's no Mishnah.
You can't tell you, and you won't show up tomorrow.
Mem Tes on the base.
Oh, Mem Ches on the base doesn't have. No, that's Mem Ches, right? That's Mem Tes on the base. Tonight's Mem Ches. I'm confused. Okay, I'm confused. Thank you.
That's
Mem Zayin. I was thinking Mem Zayin tonight's stuff. Mem Ches. Yeah, Mem Tes on the base. Yeah. Okay, so yesterday we started off with the Machlokes, Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan holds that Minat Torah Mois is Kaina. And Reish Lakish holds that, which means Mois is Kaina from the Torah, Meshicha is not. And Reish Lakish holds that Meshicha is Beferish in the Torah. Right? Which means he's saying money is not. So the bottom line is, we're going to get to Metal. We'll get to Metal in a car. Which
right
thing,
now?
money or
Anything.
Anything. Right now, let's keep it simple at anything. Let's keep it like that.
You have in the Torah, I've been bought.
That could be, yeah. So what?
Kesef.
Right.
So how's that not in the Torah?
What do you mean that kesef? No, but do you need Mashiach also? Is Mashiach? There's two ways to manifest itself. Kesef alone doesn't work. Well, with karka, maybe not. Maybe you can't do it on karka. Maybe you need chazaka, right? And that's one. And two is, does Mashiach work by itself from the Torah, right? So, and then the question also that's going to be on the bottom of the Amud of the next Amud is, does it work for a guy? Because Reish Lakish, what's Reish Lakish's reason? Again, Reish Lakish holds Mashiach is mefurish in the Torah. Rabbi Yochanan holds Mashiach is not in the Torah. Right? So Reish Lakish holds Mashiach is mefurish in the Torah because it says, so it means only from your nation. Amisecha means from your nation, mashma, that Mashiach does not work with a guy. Right?
That's what Yochanan.
That's Reish Lakish. Well, so we'll get to that. Anyways, the point is that we have to know, yesterday we did the sources from the psukim, that again, Rabbi Yochanan holds that midaraisa Mashiach is kaina. I'm sorry, Mashiach is not kaina, it's the Rabbanon. And according to Reish Lakish, Mashiach is the deraisa. Right, so now the Gemara asks a few kashas. Tanan, based on our original Mishnah, Rav Shimon Omer, Kolsha Kesef biyadoi. If somebody has kesef in his hand, yadoi alol yain. Right, Rav Shimon's shita was that, again, according to the Tanakama held that if you do Mashiach, then you can't back out. Meaning, the guy comes into the store and pulls the thing that he wants to buy, the seller can no longer back out. Finish. He's just not allowed to. But if he only paid money, then he is allowed to back out. Right? But if he does back out, he's going to get a mishapara, which the Gemara is going to discuss. He's going to get, he should be punished for not keeping his word. That's the Shita Tanakam. Rav Shimon holds, no, whoever's holding the money, he has the upper hand, and he could back out. So if the buyer still has the money, he could back out of the contract. And if the seller already has the money, then he can't back out. So the Gemara says, the Gemara is medayik meicher hu demotzi hadave. So the seller can change his mind, right? Lekeach leimotzi hadave, but the lekeach cannot change his mind. Meaning, once it was paid for, then the lekeach can't change his mind. So if you say that money is kaina mishum hachi meicher motzi hadave, That's why the Meicher could back out, right? Because he didn't. If the Lekeach still has the money, so no. Right, I'm sorry. Let me finish the whole sentence. If you say money is kind of that's where the Meicher can change his mind. But the Lekeach can't change his mind, right? Because if it's Daraisa, that he's gonna make sure that he's gonna watch again. What was the whole chashash of Rabbi Yochanan that he's no longer we're gonna just say Ma'is kind of he's not gonna care to watch, and if there's a fire, he's just gonna take care of it because he already got his money, right? But so maybe if he could back out, though, he would watch it, because let's say the price of this stuff goes up, and if he could back out, so then he would protect it. I don't know how common that would be, but fine. But if you say that money is not kinda, then the lekeach should also be able to get out. Meaning, if money doesn't work, so then according to Reb Shimon, everybody should be able to back out until there's Mashiach. Everybody should back out. So what does Reb Shimon? So what does Reb Shimon mean? That it all tally on who has the money. So Malach Rish Lakish, I'll leave it to Reb Shimon like Kamina. Rish Lakish says, I don't work with Reb Shimon's Shita. Right? Meaning Reb Shimon holds that it does not work. Ki Kamina, I'll leave it to Rabbanon. I'm going according to the Rabbanon, which is interesting because that means, isn't that we've asked this kasha before. I don't understand it exactly, but if he is backed up by Rish Lakish, so then, if he's not backed up by Reb Shimon, so isn't that a kasha on Rish Lakish? Right? Rish Lakish can't hold like Reb Shimon. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, okay, but that's so again. What?
Unless he holds Kedai Reb Shimon Lismich Lebashaz Chak.
Is that what that means?
We don't pass him like Reb Shimon. We pass him like the Rabbanon. So it's not a kasha from Reb Shimon.
It's not a kasha Reb Shimon. It's a kasha Rish Lakish.
No, it's not a kasha on Rish Lakish from Reb Shimon because we never pass him like Reb Shimon. It's like Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel. You can't ask a kasha on a Moira from Beis Shammai.
What do you mean? Because we don't pass him like him.
Because we never pass him like him. It's a cloud.
Right. Yeah.
It's the season. Kedai Reb Shimon Lismich Alav.
I hear. Okay, all right. But I didn't understand if that's what he's. It still says. Why? Meaning, if your shita doesn't fit into him, so then. You're saying you don't care? It's like Beis Shammai. That's what you're saying. Anyway, okay, whatever it is. So Bishlam, next Gemara continues right. Fine. So according to Rish Lakish, we understand what the difference is between Rish Shimon and the Rabbanon, right? Which is fairly simple. According to the Chachamim, Meshicha is kinda midaraisa, and Reb Shimon holds that, but the Meshicha is not. Now, Rabbi Yochanan, according to Rabbi Yochanan, who holds that Ma'is is kinda midaraisa, Ma'ika bein Reb Shimon and the Rabbanon. So then, what's the difference between Reb Shimon and the Rabbanon? Right. So the Gemara answers, the difference between them is the shita Rav Chisda. The same way they made a takana Mashiach by Meichrim, which is that until the buyer does Mashiach, the Meicher can back out. Kach tiknu v'shicha b'lekuchas. We say the same thing by the buyer, right? That the buyer can back out before he does a kinyan, before he does Mashiach. Meaning it's a two-way street. Just like one could back out, so the other one could also back out. Reb Shimon, lastly, the Rav Chisda. Reb Shimon does not hold like Rav Chisda. Rabbanon Islu, the Rav Chisda, and the Rabbanon do hold like Rav Chisda. Fine. So then the Gemara asks another kasha. Tanan aval amru misha par midara mabel. Whoever took the payment from the Dara Babel, meaning the Rabban Islam, who was he is going to take punishment from somebody who doesn't keep his word. Yeah, if you say that money is kind of that's why he gets the aval. But meaning, yes, you could back out, but you're going to get a whooping, right? But if you say that money is not kaina, am I koi ba'aval? Why is he getting an aval? Meaning,
he backed out.
what?
He still backed out. He wasn't.
So what? But he didn't do any.
He did. He
didn't do enough. If you gave money and it was a real kinyan, so Avada, you're a bad guy.
If you gave,
but here
if you gave money and it wasn't a kinyan, it was a deal. It was gave your word.
You gave your word, but you know the Gemara is thinking now. The Gemara's teretz going to be like you're saying, but the Gemara is thinking now. If you did something halachically wrong, so you get a whooping. Like you, I mean, we're in bad shape, right? If Hashem's going to give out punishment like he gave to the Dara Mabel for something that's not halachically also,
it says he's going to give it like the same punishment as he gave the Dara Mabel, or the one who gave the one who gave them punishment is going to give us punishment.
Right. So we're going to see it. Right. Yes. What? You're right. That's the way you said it is a better way to say it. Meaning, but the point is, we're going to get punished for what you get. So if you did something wrong, you get punished. I keep thinking about that with people ask all sorts of shilas, like I keep my water bottle, do I need to kasher my kereg for Pesach? I mean, really, do you really need to kasher your kereg, even if it sits on the counter? You don't, you use it for coffee. Why does it need to be kasher? Or why put it away and do you need a new one? But many say we do it, right? Because are you scared of Pesach, right? Imagine. So we all look at it like we'll get punished if we use the same kereg. But
I don't use it at all.
Good. Why? Because you're scared of punishment, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying right. But if we're going to get punished,
because we made it too complicated to make it work.
You're right. But if you're scared of getting punished for that, for using a kereg on Pesach, we're really in hot water, no pun intended. You know what I mean? It's like, really, I mean, you're supposed to get punished for eating chametz on Pesach, not for using a kereg machine that gets used with kosher Pesach coffee the entire year, right? Okay, that's what I was thinking. So I'm saying if a guy is going to get, meaning, if you did something wrong because Mois is kaina and you back out, okay, so the one who punished the damabel is going to punish you too. Fine. But if all you're doing is, okay, I mean, you're not going to get the Tzaddik of the Year award because you backed out from your words. But that if you didn't do an Isser, are you really gonna be punished like that? That's what I think the Gemara is asking. So then the Gemara answers, Mishum Devarim, yeah, like Naphtali's saying, yeah, you're gonna get whooped because of words. So now the Gemara asks, with Devarim Mikoi Ba'aval, just because you said words, you spoke words and you didn't keep to that, you're gonna get an aval. But Tanya, now we start today's Zav. Even though we say that the talis is kind of the dinazav, like we said, if you pull the talis, that's who's kind of. The money is not kind of. Vein dinazav kind of talis, and right, the money is not kind of the talis, right? That is the halacha taka. That what? Meaning, what's the halacha? Aval amru. Whoever gave punishment to the Dara Mabel, Dara Flaga. Now here the Brisa adds in a few more. Right? In Yonah D'Yoma. See, I would say it's in Yonah D'Yoma, Mitzrayim B'Yam, but there's not a mention of Kriyas Yamsuf in the Seder.
You discussed this last year.
Yeah, right. There's not one mention of it, as far as I know.
Dayenu.
Yeah, but that's going through the entire history. But meaning you would
Like
think
Carl
by the
Hayam.
by the Nisim at the end, Laka Layam, but that's also there.
Right,
Right,
it's
but
not meaning.
Carl Hayam, yeah.
No, but we go through the story. What happened? We start with say whatever. We go through the whole story, and the story totally stops before Kriyas Yamsuf. Totally. Right? Which is quite interesting. I don't know what to do with that ha'ara exactly. I'm sure there's many. I don't know if he brings it. I don't think so. Right? But Elamai, Yitzias Mitzrayim has nothing to do with Kriyas Yamsuf. That's what you have to say. It's two separate things. You think at least us Yashir have to say they want us to stay up all night anyways, Pesach night. So why not throw an Oz Yashir in there? Right? But no, there's no Oz Yashir. I don't know. It's a fair thing. I don't know if it's a major kasha or not. But the point is that this is not Negeya to Pesach for Gershon.
Don't the Hasidim go after the Seder to say Az Yosher?
Seventh night, Peretz. That's when Oz Yashir was. The seventh night. Peretz, get you Menhogim in a row.
Say Nishmas.
Yeah. Shira Shirim. Shira Shirim. From a cloth. No.
Everyone written up.
What? I gotta get a cloth?
That's my line.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, David, you would fall asleep before you took it out.
First of all, it's not true. Many years I do say Shira Shirim, but not from a clock.
Good.
But I
That's
do say,
okay. So I didn't say
Exactly.
anything.
School.
Yeah, I'm not a clock guy.
He's not a klafta. Yeah. So anyways, so I don't know if it has to do with Pesach, but okay, it's all sorts of vertalach on this though. What did the Mitzrayim do wrong? That's a big kasha. Did the Mitzrayim really do anything wrong? It was foretold already before, right? That they were supposed to be Mitzrayim, right? Avram Avinu was told they're going to go to Mitzrayim and they're going to.
They enjoyed it.
That's one of the tirutzim that they enjoyed it, right? Yeah, or that they overdid it.
Avram was Beretz Leilahem.
What?
All HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram was Beretz Leilahem.
Okay, no. So, but that's
Right,
they were being
and
Mekayim,
that's-
right? Isn't it? That's somebody's teretz also.
I think that's Lefiri Shittas Rashi. Yeah.
Is
The
it?
Cleveland Rav right there.
It's not a clear Rashi, but I think it's Lefi Shittas Rashi.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's added to it. So who also the parim mishaina aimed b'dibura? He is going to take payment from somebody who doesn't keep his word. And somebody who does business, noisen means it's a phrase for buying and selling. With words like kana, there's words are meaningless. You're not kinda.
Do you have that term Nasim Be'emuna in Shabbos?
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So that's a good order. And somebody who changes his mind, there's Ruach HaChamim is not Noichim. So what does that mean? So, wow, what is the different? Why is that different than before? Right. So that's Taisus Kasha. Taisus says, "What were you teaching us before?" It's so that he's saying. Taisus says, "He gufa. It's not as bad as a mishapara." Right, a mishapara is much worse than ein ruach chachamim noichem. I mean, a guy just full of hot air is not being nachas ruach to the chachamim. But anyway, so chayzer ein ruach chachamim noichem. V'amar Rava anu ein lanu ela ein ruach chachamim noichem. We have that. It's meaning there's nothing more for us. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. He's saying
Tosh is going on this line of the Gemara. Rava is saying that there's no mishapara.
We go right, meaning we're going with this that ein ruach chacham noicha himenu. Whatever it is, right? We see from this brisa that it's ein ruach chachamim noicha himenu. It's not a mishapara. Meaning somebody who just shoots just words is not getting a mishapara. Meaning if it was a business issue, so then you get mishapara. Meaning if there was a kinyan issue and you still back out, then you got a mishapara. But from stam words, it's ein ruach chachamim noicha himenu, but it's not mishapara. So when it answers, dvarim ve'ika b'adayu mois koi ba'aval. If it's words together with a financial issue, then you're getting mishapara. Dvarim ve'leka b'adayu mois, but if it's stam that you shoot your mouth off, like aval, you don't get the aval, meaning you don't get the mishapara, but you will have ein chachamim noichemenu. Right? Yeah, so it's interesting Rashi. What's a nafkamina? Right? Meaning whether Mois is not kind of the right. So Rashi says a nafkamina would be if a guy marries or takes that money and marries the woman, and then the other guy backs out. Right? So the question is, if it's a deraisa, the Kinyan, so it was his money, so then the marriage is a marriage. But according to Rish Lakish, that it was not a real Kinyan, so the money wasn't his. So the marriage is not a marriage because he married her with money that didn't belong to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that can mess things up.
Yeah, yes, it could. Yes, it could. Yeah.
The Ritva argues on Rashi, by the way.
Does he? On this in
Yeah,
this
he says Hefker Bestin, because otherwise it'll be funny, then it'll come out.
What are you gonna
Most in a kindness, then there's no condition in a
okay,
Torah.
that gets right. Very good. Very good. Yes, thank you. That gets into the whole, yeah, what he meaning you have to allow it. We hadn't I think did we have it? Where do we have it? Can't be in Kedushin, I wouldn't remember. It was too long ago. Must have been some other place. Okay, fine. So going back to the sugya now between Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. So Amar Rava, Kro Masnisa Messiah Rish Lakish. Again, Rish Lakish holds that Mashiach kind of midaraisa. Right? Meaning he holds Mashiach kind of midaraisa, and money is not. Right? Meaning the Gemara keeps painting the machlokes as whether Mashiach is kind of midaraisa. But on the flip side of it is that if you hold Mashiach is kind of midaraisa, then money is not kind of midaraisa. So basically, you have, if you hold that money is kind of midaraisa, then the Mashiach is not. If you hold that Mashiach is, then money is not. Right? So Rav is saying the pasuk and the Mishnah and the Brisa are like Rish Lakish. This is talking about when you're denying, when you lie, when you make a false shvur. And he was mechachesh, he denied somebody from his nation, right? Meaning another yid, pikadon. So it's a pikadon, which whether you were watching it for him, sumas yad, or loan, begezel, or stealing, ashak as amisai, or if he held back from paying somebody back. So chumas yad, now so basically, you don't make the shvua on just a straight denial. You have to actually have the object in your rishus. Meaning, if a guy comes over to me and says, "Hey, you owe me $100," and I lie and I say I don't owe you $100, but I never had the $100, so then I don't have to make. I'm not liable for that.
You never had it. Is that a lie?
What?
What does that mean? What does that mean? You never had it, so maybe it's not a lie.
If I never had it. No, what do you mean? I did lie. I owed it to him.
But you said you never had it.
No, I don't. If I don't have it now.
Oh, okay.
If I don't have it now, but I still lied to him, so then then this din doesn't apply. So what? So then so it means, how do you have it that the guy has it, but he's lying? Meaning, how do you have it where a guy? Let's see. Chumas yad. So what's chumas yad? That means a loan. This is talking about where he was meyached a kli for the halva, right? Meaning collateral, right? So therefore, now I think I explained it not so clear. Meaning the lender has to have a yad in the thing when it's in the rishus of the guy who's lying. Meaning, meaning if I tell a guy, I tell Naftali that I lent him $100, and Naftali lies about it, and there's no shaykhus, I don't have anything by Naftali, so then that's not a shvur. But if when I lent Naftali the $100, I took a collateral or a miyachid a collateral, so that means I own the collateral. Now Naftali is denying that whole thing. So that's what we're talking about. Like kli. He was miyachad for the halva. So then there is some item there, ashak, and if he didn't pay, amar of chista going yichud like kli ashka. He was miyachad He was miyachad a kli, meaning the boss told the workers, he said, if I don't pay you, this is going to be yours. And then he denies. And then when the pasuk goes back and says that he gave it back, it says, if he did a chet and he did something wrong, and he returns what he stole, or the what he was supposed to pay, or the pekadon that he left with him. But what happened to Shumas Yad, right? There the Gemara doesn't the pasuk doesn't go back. My timer, la meshum de mechasr mashicha. Isn't it because there was no mashicha? Right? Meaning the guy was never meaning the guy never was koinet. So Mamela, what do you see? Why wasn't he koinet? Because there was never a mashicha. So you see that mashicha is a kinyam edaraisa, and if you don't do mashicha, it's not koinet. So that's a very strong proof to Rish Lakish. Right? We learn it out from Ishik, that, and once you're learning it out from Ishik, that's where the pasuk is coming from. So it's a Hachamay Askina. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about where the workers took the pekadon and then gave it back to him. Right? So Mamela, there was a Mashiach, so there's no proof. So Gemara says, "Hainu pekadon." If that's the case, that's a pekadon, right? They took the collateral, they gave it back, so now he's watching theirs. So Gemara says, "Trei kavnei pekadon." There's two types of pekadon, right? So the proof is back. So ihachi shumas yad nami lahadre. If that's the case, so then why doesn't the pasuk taka go back and talk about shumas yad? But look, man, why doesn't it say why can't you say that? Somewhere where the Malvet took the collateral and then gave it back to the Loivim. Why? So why do you have to leave out the fourth case? So Gemara answers, if the pasuk would have gone back, then you would have no kasha and no raya as to what kinyonim are. Hashta the loya hadri kra, but now that the pasuk didn't go back and say it, then it's a proof to Reish Lakish. Meaning, if the pasuk would have said all four, then we wouldn't know either way whether it's like Reish Lakish or it's like Rabbi Yochanan. But now that the pasuk went back and said it, then it's a proof. It's a vade proof to Reish Lakish. So then the Gemara asks, "Sumas yad lo yahadre kra." Does the pasuk not go back and talk about returning the loan? How do you know to take whatever's in the top parsha and to put it into the bottom parsha? Because then the pasuk gives just a rule that if a guy swears on something l'sheker, it's coming to include a loan that giving it back, right? And if a guy lies about it, then he's going to be on the hook. So Gemara says, yeah, but that's not beferish. So beferish, the pasuk doesn't say that he has to give it back and bring a carbon, right? So since it doesn't say it, so therefore it doesn't have the same power. Mela, why not? Because there was no Mashiach. So it's a raya that to Rish Lakish. So the pasuk's a raya to Rish Lakish. Okay, so that's the pasuk. What about the brisa? How's there a brisa that's a raya to Rish Lakish? The Tanya, nitna lebalan mal. If a guy goes, meaning we had meila. What's meila? Meila is if somebody by mistake uses mum and hektish. So let's say a guy gave money from hektish and he gave it to the balan. The balan is the guy in charge of the bathhouse, right? Right when he gives the money, right when you go into the mikveh, you pay for the mikveh. Yeah, so the guy by mistake takes out his hektish money and pays it to the mikveh guy, right? So, and it's of course meila is done b'shoigig. So he did it b'shoigig. So right when he gives it to the mikveh guy is mal. Oh, but he didn't use the mikveh, right? Meaning what did he do wrong with the coin? He gave it to the guy, so go take it back, right? What did he do wrong? Dafka balan hu delay machas mashicha. Dafka by a balon, because there is no such thing as Mashiach. You don't do Mashiach in the bathhouse when you go use the bathhouse, right? Since it doesn't have a possibility of Mashiach, so that's why the Kinyan, works with money. But anything else that's missing Mashiach, you wouldn't be mile until you actually take something instead of the hektish. Right? So you see, what do you see from this? That Mashiach is very important part of making something transfer reshuyas. Right? So I'm going to ask, if he gives it to a barber, he's mal. By the sapper, wouldn't you have to pull the scissors? Right? Which I'm not sure why do you have to do that. I mean, wouldn't it be right when he starts giving you a haircut? So I didn't clearly understand that. But anyway, so how come there the din is different? So there's a major line right here. And it would be a problem, meaning it would not be a kinyan, but we're talking about a guy, the lav bar mashicha. A guy is not a bar mashicha, right? But like we said earlier, how does Rish Lakish know his din? It says oikona miyad amisecha. So how do you do a kinyan mashicha? With kinyan mashicha works with a fellow yid, but it does not work with a guy, right? So what works with a guy? Kinyan kesef, right? So that's basically what that's what the Gemara is saying, which plays into the mechiras chametz in a major way, right? Because a kinyan kesef, that we do with the guy, right? We do the kinyan kesef with the guy. We do not do mashicha with the guy, right? So it sounds like from here that's perfectly fine that we don't do mashicha because kinyan mashicha doesn't work with a guy, right? But at least midaraisa, but the mashma that Rabbi Yochanan, that you would need to do at least midarabana a mashicha from a guy. A mashicha would work with a guy.
The Milkei Yosef says that.
What? That it would work.
Yeah, because this is a libed Rish Lakish, but a libed Rabbi Yochanan. I think
Correct.
He says that we hold like Rabbi Yochanan, and he brings the Gemara in Avodah Zarah. The Gemara says we only have Mashiach by a guy, but I'm not sure. But he says for sure Mashiach would work by a guy according to Rabbi Yochanan.
Correct. So that's where we get into the entire mechiras chametz with a guy, right?
Yeah, we do Mashiach also, or just Mas?
We can't do Mashiach. That's the problem. The mechiras chametz, you can't do Mashiach.
Right. Just give them the money. Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, you could if you do your own private sale, but we don't do a private sale. That's where it gets into the whole sourdough, right? We sell our sourdough. If you don't sell chametz gomer, give your sourdough to the guy and let the guy bring it home, right? And then that's the way it goes. But that part we don't do, which is why many people frown upon selling chametz gomer, because that's one kinyan that we don't do. Okay, Tani Nami Hachi.
Why you don't do mashiach?
We don't do mashiach.
But according, it doesn't even work.
Yeah, but why can't
no question is whether you need
money be enough?
It is an economy. That's why we paskin that we could make ikra din. Everybody holds you could sell chametz gomer, but because of the chumra de pesach, so people don't want to sell chametz gomer. So we're not doing mashiach. What if you do mashiach with? According to Rabbi Yochanan, it is.
According to Rish Lakish?
According to Rish Lakish, no. Right. So I'm saying if you want to be yotze with everybody, you got to do a kesef and a mashiach. We listen. We paskin that it's mois for sure works with the guy. That's not a question, right? But there's other shitas that say not like that. So that's Anyway, so let's see. It's Tani Ami. If the guy gives the hektish money to a barber or to a sailor or to any worker, right? Meaning he's paying for goods, well, not goods, for services. Meaning nothing. There's nothing actual right? So loy mal ad demasha, he's not mal until he does mashicha. That's a stira, right? The previous rise says you are mal, even if there's no mashicha. Kashin adadi elalav shmamina kan b'safar nachri kan b'safri. So one is talking about a barber who's a guy, one is talking about a barber who's a yid. Shmamina, and that's what we learn. Okay, on to the base. Ela kasha l'rish lakish, but then it's a kasha to rish lakish. Because you see, right? You see that you can do a kinyan with a guy with kesef. Sorry, not with a guy. Stam, you can do a kinyan kesef. Rish Lakish said there is no kinyan kesef. Rish Lakish, I'm money Reb Shimon here. Again, Rish Lakish is saying this price is Reb Shimon. I don't hold it Reb Shimon. I don't go with Reb Shimon. Right, so Mamela, it's not a stira. Which is quite interesting that you have this big long Tosfos who ends up saying that even though the Gemara seems to bring raya, not seems, the Gemara brings a raya from the pasuk like Rish Lakish, the Gemara brings a raya from the Brisa like Rish Lakish, and we pass them like Rabbi Yochanan, right? So that's okay. Ayin Tosfos, which I didn't do the whole Tosfos. I started it, then I don't know, I got distracted. But that's what Tosfos is all about. Okay. That's the harder part of the daf. Now it's a little easier. Aramo Misha Para, right? We said that if you back out from a business transaction, you're going to be chayav Misha Para. Say Itmar Abaya Omar Aiduya Medina Le. What does it mean? What does it mean the Misha Para? You just let the guy know that you watch out, Hashem's coming after you. Right? Meaning if you back out of this deal, Hashem's coming after you. Rava Omar Meilet Laitina Le. We curse him. Right? Meaning Bezdin actually tells him you're cursed now. So Abai Amar Adu Medina Le, we let him know somebody nasi by your nation, you shouldn't curse. So you're not allowed to curse, even if the guy deserves it. We do curse him. Says you only don't curse somebody who's from your nation. He has to do the Maisa of your nation. And this guy, since he's doing an Aveira, is not considered Isa Maisa Amcha. Right, and this we know that we have the same with Hilchas Lashon Hara, that if somebody doesn't keep mitzvahs, you're allowed to say Lashon Hara on him. Right? So that same thing. If somebody's not Oisa Maisa Amcha, a lot of halachas don't apply to him.
Or has to be bigger.
No, it says Oisa Maisa, he has to be a Yid.
So by the time I left,
so Naftali is asking a good thing. Good, thank you for the reminder. Where does it say anywhere in the Torah you're not allowed to lie?
It says Midrash Tircham.
That's not a lav. It says stay away. It says,
I think it's an as a lot of Rishonim say it says Har and Beis Din.
Correct. It's not, but it's not a lav. It's not a lav. Right. So it's very interesting, Rashi. Yeah. No, but besides that's falsely testifying.
Well, yeah. Well, if you can't, you're allowed to lie.
That's me saying. I could say I never did anything about myself. I never had a drink. That's not like that's not a adus.
Right. I could say Peretz is handsome, right, or something like that, right? So I'm saying I'm lying. Is there an issue with that? Anyway, so no. Look at the Rashi. Just the Rashi in the.
Is that Lashon Hara also?
What?
Is that Lashon Hara also?
He's not. It depends if he's Isa Maisa Amcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? So if you're trying to figure out if a guy's Oisa Maisa, you say Lashon Hara on him, and then you say, you know why I could say Lashon Hara? Because he's not Oisa Maisa Amcha. And if you're wrong on both counts, then you're really up the creek. Right? You get the double. It's a double or nothing over there. But he says because the pasuk in Sefania, Rashi brings in the first thin line, Sheiris Yisrael lo yasu avla v'lo yidabru kazav. Klal Yisrael doesn't speak bad and don't lie, meaning. Oisa Maisa Amcha does not have to be a lav. A yid doesn't lie. So Mamela, he's not behaving like a yid. Now, if you go with this Rashi, you could really take this and run with it. You could say, oh, if a guy eats in the street, right? Not a Yiddish thing. Right? So not a Yiddish thing, so therefore it's not Oisa Maisa Amcha. Right? I'm saying I don't know where you draw that line exactly. Rashi's saying a yid doesn't lie. Mamela, but it doesn't seem like he's saying because a guy's over on an Aveira, he's just not behaving like a Yid. It's a little bit of a gray area. I said the Mishnah Berurah, not the Mishnah Berurah. Chavetz Chaim talks about it. Of course, I meant to look it up, but totally slipped my mind. Okay, weiter. Omar Rav.
So much time.
Omar Rav. Mino Amina. Where do I know this from? The Rab Chia bar Yosef Yavules. We got a little story here. The Rab Chia bar Yosef Yavules Zuze Amilcha. So Rab Chia bar Yosef sold some people some salt. Right? L'soif a yakar milcha. The salt prices went up, and of course, what do you do when that happens? So you want to back out. Also, look at me, Rav Yochanan. He came from Rav Yochanan. Amalei zil hablahu. He says you got to go give them the salt. V'iloi kibbel misha para. And if you don't, you're getting a misha para. And if you're just saying that that Bezin doesn't actually curse the guy for backing out, and he just lets them know. Reb Chia bar Yosef bar Duyehu. He was a Talmud Chacham. So he needed Bezdin. He needed Bezdin to tell him. Right,
we had a story like
that he's gonna get it, right? Yeah,
this happened in the neighborhood. I'm not going to say the name. I mean, I'll tell you, Hershleib Geffen, when he bought his house, he had a deal with a person, chush of a person, and then the prices over the few months, prices went up dramatically, and the person wanted to back out. Hershleib had to take him to Din Torah. And Hershleib won because he was 100% right.
Yeah, but he could maybe the guy depends, I guess, what type of kinyanim were done.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and Achanami, but if it was just the thing that he could back up, and the guy would get a mishapara. Now I don't know what's worse. Right? This happens all the time. Yeah, but anyways, so Gemara is saying if he's just letting the guy know, so then Reb Chia bar Yosef was a Talmud Chacham. Bezdin didn't let him know. So what are you going to say? They cursed him. Reb Chia bar Yosef right? Would Reb Chia bar Yosef do something that he's going to get that the Chacham are going to curse him? That doesn't make sense either. So what's going on here? Ella Reb Chia bar Yosef a Rabban Hudi Yavlei. What he did, he took a down payment, right? Meaning they gave him how do you call it? It wasn't COD. It was
deposit.
I get a deposit. Yeah, a deposit. Right? It was a deposit. Who savar connected who kind of. So he thought that when it was given as a deposit, so good. So the deposit, let's say he sold him $1,000 worth of salt, right? But they only paid him $100. So Reb Chia bar Yosef thought, okay, so $100 of salt I have to give them, but I don't have to give them the other 900 because they didn't pay for it. That's what he thought. Rabbi Yochanan, no, no, even though they only paid you 100 and they still owe you 900, you're still not allowed to back out because that's considered like an actual full purchase. It's not looked at like a down payment, which is mamish what goes on by the mechiras chametz. Because people think, what, the guy's buying millions of dollars worth of chametz. Is he paying for it? We take a nickel. We take a nickel for each person, but it's not a down payment. He's buying everything. This mamish, this sugi, exactly what goes on. It's the more confusing thing that we get from people not understanding the mechira. Yes, so we get a nickel.
If the value goes up, is that?
Yes, it goes to him. Officially, it goes to him. If he'd be smart enough to do this, it would go to him. Right? I mean, the big shiloh goes on if it was a big in Eretz Yisrael, one of the factories that was sold to the guy burned down. So now who gets the insurance? It was on Pesach. Who gets the insurance? L'chayra should go to the guy. He bought it. Meaning, even though he's only giving a nickel, if it would be a down payment, so then maybe the Yid still owns the chametz. It's not a down payment.
Does he have to come if he takes it? Pay more?
I think it's not a down. Is that what you call it? I'm not sure what you call it.
Doesn't he have to pay more if he comes takes it?
They'll have to pay for it. The rabbi goes back to the guy Metzia and says, okay, you gave us a nickel, but you borrowed millions of dollars. You borrowed millions of dollars from us for your chametz. So we go back and we say, pay up. I don't go back. I never did the sale back. The rabbanim go back and say, pay up. You owe us millions of dollars. He says, I don't got the money. So okay, you want us to? We'll give it back. We'll be meicher alone, and then you get the chametz back. That's basically what goes on, right? So it's not a down payment. What? He'll pay up. He'll pay up, right? Anyway, so that's the Gemara's next shaila. Itmar a Ravan right? If you have a down payment, Rav Amar Kenegda who kind of. So if a guy gives a down payment, he only is kind of what his down payment was, right? So again, using our example, if it's $1,000 payment, he only gives 100. So he's kind of 100 of salt, and the rest he's not. No, it's keneged. He gets the whole thing, right? Which is the way we paskin. That's exactly the way we paskin, which goes on with the mechirus chametz. He's giving us a nickel, right? But he's getting the whole thing. He's kind of the whole thing, even though he didn't pay for it, right? So Gemara asks, if a guy gives a ravan to his friend, again a down payment. Well, actually no. Rashi says this a ravan is different, right? By the machlokes, what was it, Rav and Rabbi Yochanan? It's a down payment, right? Rashi here says, it's sort of a, it's a what's the word? A security deposit. That's what it is. It's a security deposit. I think that's what we would say. It's a security deposit. That's what we're talking about. He gives a security deposit. If I back out, you can keep the whole security. Yeah, it's mamash security deposit. And the other guy says, if I change my mind, I'm going to I'm going to give it double, right? So niskaima tanoim. If that's what was happened, then you have to keep the tanoim, and if you don't keep the tanoim, you're going to have to pay. That's shitas Rabbi Yossi. Why? Rabbi Yossi letamei da amar asmachta kanya, right? Because he holds. Maybe we had this a couple of times already. This is where gambling becomes asur, because he holds. Well, here gambling is mutter according to asmachta, even though meaning where was the kinyan here? Right? How do you make a kinyan here? There's no kinyan, right? Meaning on the rest of on the knas money. So asmachta, meaning if A happens, then money will go to you, like or A then B or whatever it is, then he holds asmachta's kanya. So therefore, they're going to be on the hook. No, all they're going to get is the whatever. They can only stay into the deal. They only required to stay in the deal the amount that this security deposit was worth, not more than that, right? Because he's going to hold it. It's not kanya. So Amar Shimon Gamliel, Yakun. That's where he says that my Eravine is going to be kind. But if a guy sells a house for 1,000 zuz, and the buyer paid 500 zuz, kana, so he's kainet, and he has to pay him back even after many years, right? But the meaning, it's still a kinyan. This is exactly what we're saying. What happens with the mechiras chametz with the guy, right? It's the kinyan happens even if he owes money on it. It's for many years the kinyan is still his, and basically it's looked like a loan. So Gemara is saying, so what are we learning out from this? My love, who are the metaltalin? So this works even for metaltalin. With the stomach kani lulakulu, meaning by metaltalin the same thing, not just by karka, right? But if I sell a guy a jacket and he only pays me half the jacket, even though he doesn't pay me back half, it's as if it's a loan, but the kinyan really works, which is again exactly what the mechiras chametz is. So when it says loy metaltalin b'stomach loy kani, metaltalin doesn't work like this. You can't buy metaltalin this way. Karka, the bekaspa kani le mamish, but by karka, where when you give money, you're actually kind of land kani le lakula. You're kind of the whole thing. That is what Naftali was saying before. Metaltalin, the like kani ala kabule mishapara. Metaltalin is you're only really metaltalin. You're not kind of right until there's a mashicha like kani le kule. You're not kind of the whole thing. So therefore, it's a different metaltalin does not work. It doesn't work the same way, right? Meaning because he can't do it. You're supposed to stay in the deal, but that's only alta mishapara, right? But it's not an actual. There's not an actual kinyan. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop there. A guy actually right before the shir texted me a shaila. He says somebody gave him a matana a year ago. The guy was throwing it out. And he said, you know what? You want this? Keep it. right? And now a year later, the guy who gave the matana wants it back. Right? He wants to know if he has to give it back. So yeah, so that was an interesting one.
What is that? Is he trying to reteach the Gemara when he wants it
yes.
back?
I hear. I don't know. Okay, I want to say Mar. I want to say Matilon Sakachapa Mar. Okay. Pei Gimel. Shimas Mala Azof Elim Adom Milach Al Techrosh Matish Kaidel Kinei Avech Yemanu Masanecha Nasu Rosh. Alam Chayirim Masad Yisrael Tzvat Tzvanecha Amnu L'chu V'Nachina Migoy V'Lo Yizach Hashem Yisrael Oid. Kinoi Yitzu Leviachta V'Alecha B'Sichroy So Alei Adam Yishmael V'Yav Agrim Gvol V'Amen V'Amalek Pleshes V'Yosh Beitzor. Kam Ashanu V'Imam V'Yisrael V'Nei Leitzela Selim Comedian Kisisur Kiyavim Nachal Kishan. ישבדו בין דור הידיים אל האדם אשר יסיימן לדבר מקויר וחזר וחזר וחצמון הכונס יחיימה אשר אמרו לשלנו ויסנויס אלוהים אל השסיימן כגלגל כקש לפני רוח כשתבר יוח לא ותל היתהרם כי תיר דפים בסערך וספס חסב עליהם מלא פניהם קולים ואקשו שמך אדוני יבושו ובלו הדייר ויחברו ויבדו ידעו כי אתה שמך אדוני לבדך עליון הכל